Hello and welcome to our ninth grade family night. My name is Stacy Erickson. I'm one of the associate principals here at Oregon City High School. We are really excited to have you all here. We have a few instructions to start out this evening. And the first is to make sure, because it's such a large meeting, we're hitting 129 right now, that to keep your cameras off and to keep yourself muted. We will be posting a link in the chat box presently. And the link posted in the chat box to share your comments. It's a Survey Monkey. If you've been to any district meetings thus far that are held like this, that's how we get our feedback and questions and concerns. And at the end of the evening, we should, hopefully, if we get through all the stuff, we should have time to go through some questions, and then we definitely are going to use the questions and thoughts and ideas for further ninth grade family nights, where we as a team address and help support and really make sure and have that your ninth grade students are headed into the year right, and to sustain through this pretty exciting and different time. And so the first thing we need to do is sort out our interpreters. We have Spanish interpretation and Russian interpretation tonight. And to do that, I'm going to have our the Russian interpreter go first and do some instructions in Russian, and then we will have our Spanish interpreter go do some instructions in Spanish. Once they finish, then we'll turn on the interpretation button and sort that out, and we'll be good to go. So I would be looking for Ksenia. Could you give instructions about the interpretation room for Russian? Ksenia, are you here?
Yes, now I am.
All right, so could you please give instructions about a button that will appear on the bottom right-hand side of the screen and how to join that?
Yes. Добрый вечер. Добро пожаловать на сегодняшнюю встречу, где мы будем говорить и рассказывать вам о девятиклассниках и как будет проходить этот год. Несколько напоминаний перед тем, как мы начнем, чтобы ваши камеры были выключены. Микрофоны также должны быть выключены. И если у вас есть какие-то комментарии или вопросы, вы можете оставить их внизу. Вы увидите чат-коробочку, где вы можете оставить ваши любые сообщения. И сейчас выставится кнопочка, где вы можете нажать на русский язык и будете слушать русский перевод.
Thank you. Manuel, will you please give the instructions in Spanish? Manuel, are you still on the call?
Muy buenas noches a todos, bienvenidos a la noche de noveno grado, noche de familia de la Escuela High School de Oregon City. Un favor que les vamos a suplicar a todos mientras se están uniendo, por favor mantengan sus cámaras apagadas. Es muy importante que sus micrófonos estén en mute, que no podamos escucharles. También así, por favor, ustedes van a ver un link que va a estar en la caja en el cual ustedes van a poder compartir cada uno de sus comentarios o sus preguntas. También así, tengan en cuenta que esta sesión va a ser grabada también esta noche. Gracias.
Thank you. So right now I'm going to start, and oops, where's Manuel? He must have left. All right. So I'm going to start that. Can everyone see an interpretation button now? Christine, give me a thumbs up if you can see the interpretation button. Nope. Oh, thumbs up. Okay, perfect. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And here we go. So welcome again to ninth grade family night. And I have a question, Lisa. Would I not see Toby? Would he be in that room, or still, should I still see his picture if he was in there?
Sorry, you would not see his picture.
Okay, Toby, can you add the Spanish room?
I added it.
Okay.
And I am in the other room.
Okay, perfect. Then we're good to go. Just confirming that that was the case. And so please press record. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm one of the associate principals at Oregon City High School. The team for ninth grade success revolves around Christine Baldwin, our high school success coach, but we have a lot of people on board to make sure that our ninth graders are well taken care of. Next slide, please, Christine. So we have a number of people with us here tonight. We have Carrie Wilhelm, who is our principal at Oregon City High School, myself. We have Mr. Toby Futch, who is an associate principal, Mike Stead here, who's an associate principal, and anyone else that's on the admin team, maybe Mr. Jones or Ms. Berry, which I'm not sure if they're here. These are the students at admin that support our students. One of the important pieces is that we have the associate principals. We support alpha bands of students, and you can see right there the alpha band. And this slide deck will be made available to you, so don't stress if it goes a little fast. Also, look over at the group at the chat, and you can press that link with any comments or questions or concerns, and we'll put that on every so often. So Christine, can you advance? So we also have a full set of counselors that 6 academic and SEL counselors that help to support our students. If you see there that we have, they match the administrator. So John Lucente and Brandon Coop are A through G. If you see there that cut line for the different initials, and it goes through. Your counselor will be one of the steady pieces of will be a through line for your student that will know about their academic progress and be able to check in with them and work on developing 4-year plans and beyond. And our counselors work very hard to help support students both in social emotional learning and academics. And we will have another such virtual night like this where we have the counselors, and they will be the stars of the night, and we will talk a lot about 4-year planning and how that looks. So one more advance. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce our success coach, Christine Baldwin. This is her second year working at Oregon City High School. She has been, one of her major focuses is ninth grade success and working to make sure that our ninth graders transition well to high school and to really make that year a success. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the importance of the ninth grade year all the way through our fall series of parent nights for ninth grade parents. So that is one of also our future topics. And I'm going to go ahead and turn the time over to her. We are thankful that she works with us, and very thankful she works with ninth grade students. And maybe spoiler alert, she has a ninth grader here this year. So she was absolutely as invested last year, but we understand the walk of the parent. And so that part is important and an important piece of who we are. So Christine, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much, Stacy. I appreciate the opportunity to come here tonight and talk with our families and allow our ninth grade families to have that experience of kind of a question and answer. What's coming up? What is, this CDL that we keep hearing about? What is all these acronyms? So, and yes, I am truly invested. I have a ninth grader coming in who's actually downstairs watching with her father while I'm upstairs presenting. So it's a whole new world for us. And that's one of the reasons I felt like, welcome to the class of 2024. You are the pioneers reinventing the wheel. Yeah, a little emotional when you start to realize that your kids are growing up and you realize that this is the next step into their future. Wow. So tonight we're going to have a little opportunity. We've talked about who's who at OCHS, and so I'd like to just give them a thank you for being here today, all the admin and the other staff members who've joined us today to be able to give you the experience of what's happening here at OCHS. You're going to get to hear a little bit about Link Crew. Some of you may have started to hear that word Link Crew, and so we'll share what it means, have a little discussion about college and career. All of these topics tonight are really just to get you started. And one of the pieces we felt was critical for this year was being able to give you the opportunity to have small sessions throughout the course of the ninth grade year, to be able to have support throughout the ninth grade year, and then be able to just engage throughout the ninth grade year. So we'll try to touch on all of these topics tonight and then continue to have the conversation as able. So I'd like to pass the microphone over to Dana Johnson, if she's here this evening, to talk a little bit about Link Crew and what that means. We have 3 coordinators, Dana Johnson, Mike Lord, and myself, and we're working diligently to be able to put together an experience for ninth graders. Is Dana available this evening? Stacy?
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to be able to unmute herself.
Oh, okay. She just needs to have someone undo.
There we go.
Hey,
All right,
welcome.
yay.
Welcome to CDL, where I was texting both of you. I'm like, what do I do? So my name is Dana Johnson. I am one of the Link Crew advisors with Mike Lord and Christine Baldwin. I also teach health. I primarily teach health too. I do have a section of Health 1, so I might have some of your students in my class. I also have the privilege of, for mentor teams, being a ninth grade mentor team teacher, and I'm really excited about that. So what is Link Crew? Oh, sorry, let me back up. Before I go into this, if all of a sudden you see this slide and you're like writing things down quickly and afraid you're gonna miss something, you can just sit back and listen, because I will be emailing you all of this and more with every detail. So don't worry about getting all this down. Of course you can if you want. But I know there's a lot there. So you'll be getting all this very soon in an email. What is Link Crew? So this is a nationwide peer mentoring program, and it's designed to train Link leaders. So we have Link leaders who are juniors and seniors at OC, and they are mentors and role models for the incoming freshmen. So Link Crew recognizes that transitioning into high school is a huge challenge, and there's a lot of obstacles, and now we have our the new normal, and there's even more so it's really focused on a peer mentoring program with as you see, the 3 of us as advisors to kind of help out the overall program. So we recognize that the ninth grade class is the most vulnerable class as a whole, and so we do things to just set them up for success and to enjoy the high school experience. So our first Link Crew activity, it's going to look a lot different than Link Crew typically does, but it's ninth grade day. So this is September 8th. And basically it's an orientation for the ninth graders. And so again, I'll be sending all of this out to you, but what you see here, so ninth grade day, this is our schedule for the day. And our goals were that it would be fun, informative, and to build connections. Basically, so when ninth graders, start their first week of high school, they just feel more and more comfortable and confident to just get off on the right foot. So we have a variety of things that will be going on through these just different activities. But just so you know, staff will be available throughout the day. So if there's any technical difficulties or you're confused, you can call us or email us. We're going to have a morning meeting, which we played a really fun game with admin that's pre-recorded. So that's going to happen. There's going to be a break. And then the ninth graders are going to go to their mentor teams. And I'll explain what that looks like in just a second. Because then they'll go to lunch after that. And then following that, they are going to go to each class. So what this will look like is when you get your big email that tells you all of these details, if you see there's Lindsay Lieber and Tiffany Traver's names down at the bottom. It's hard when I can't use my mouse to point to it. But you're going to get a big list of every ninth grade teacher's name, and it's going to be hyperlinked. Thank you. Hyperlinked like that. So you'll be your student will be able to say, oh, I have Lindsay Lieber for mentor team. I'm going to click on her name, and it's going to take you automatically to her Zoom classroom. So it's like they're going to class. And so you're going to have a schedule that says what time you go to which period. And so basically students will look at what time it is, what class they need to be on, and then they'll look at the teacher list and click on their name. And again, that's all going to be in one document. So we're trying to make it as easy for you all as possible. And so then beyond that, we are going to have link leaders. They're going to start reaching out to your ninth graders by email and just saying, like, what can I do to help? Are you clear for ninth grade day? Just there to support, and how are you feeling, really? And then they are going to be reaching out to your ninth graders throughout the entire school year. So we really want to make sure there's that consistent connection. And if they have any questions, they have a peer to talk to along with, their teachers and admin. And then there's going to be kind of more that will unfold over the course of the year. So thank you very much.
Dana, thank you so very much for being able to talk about Link Crew. I know there's so much of the unknown, but as a parent, I know that this is an amazing opportunity for students to engage with each other and not just hear it from staff. They're going to be able to hear some great stories and experiences and what's it like with peers that will be upperclassmen who will be able to connect and sort of bring them into the experience virtually, but then also connect with them once we get back into the classrooms. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help with that. Now I'd like to introduce you to our college and career coordinator, Erica Frafford, and she will be able to tell you a little bit about what our College and Career Center offers our students throughout their 4 years of experience at OCHS. Erica?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. I'm Erica Frafford, but everyone knows me as Erica, and I am the College and Career Coordinator, and I'm also the varsity volleyball coach. So welcome to Oregon City High School. We're excited to have you. I know as freshman year, you're probably thinking, why are you talking about college and career? Well, it takes, a long time to kind of figure out what you want to do, and we want to get you thinking about what your options are. We don't push any agenda, but we want you to know that there's a whole lot of options out there, and that we have the tools that you can use to help figure out what you like to do and what kind of careers that can evolve into. So there's new careers happening every day with all this cyber computer stuff. There's new careers coming out of that. So there's careers available to you that weren't available 5 years ago. So what I do is I push our career and college career platform program, which is called Naviance. You will be getting emails in the future and through mentor teams about Naviance. And so when you hear Naviance, I want you to remember that it's a really fun program that has a wealth of information that can really help you discover things about you and then explore how that can manifest into a career option, and maybe what kind of schools you need to go to or what kind of training you need. You can take surveys about what you want to do, what you like, and then it will say, based on what you said, these are careers that might be possibilities to you. It's pretty cool. So if you have problems on Naviance, which will probably happen at some point, I'm the pinpoint person for Naviance. So just think Erica and College and Career Center. And Christine, can you do the next slide too?
Yep.
Awesome. I also do a lot of some of the testing, like PSATs. I run the PSATs here at the school. I have tons of information. So my building room has a wealth of information that I would be giving to you guys, but now you'll just get it through emails. If you need to make some connections, this is a good place to stop, and at least it can point you in the right direction. So we're really excited. We love the ninth graders, and Oregon City High School is a pretty fun place to be, so welcome.
Thank you, Erica, so much for sharing this information. I know that I definitely will be investing time in trying to figure out what all of this means. So I appreciate your time this evening just to help parents plant the seed about college and the opportunities that we can help them, guide them towards. All right, next, thank you so much. So next up is our tag coordinator, Sharon Pittenger. Sharon will talk to us a little bit about the tag program.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sharon Pittenger. I'm the tag building facilitator for the high school. And while, of course, part of my job involves testing and identifying eligible students for the TAG program. Actually, most of my job is involved with working directly with students and teachers, kind of matching students up with opportunities in the classroom, extracurricular opportunities such as speech and debate and other academic clubs. I know for sure we have speech and debate that's already up and running this year, international seminar, and hopefully we have literary magazine, Thespian Society, robotics, and some other activities for kids this year, as well as outside of school opportunities. So if the virus kind of calms down, hopefully we can get our students back into things like Saturday Academy, academic competitions, other field trips, conferences, etc. Look for some information, tag parents, about our student and parent information meeting this fall, and I will eventually send out a link for a Google Classroom specifically for tag students. Thank you so much, Christine.
Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate your time. Thank you. All right, so just a reminder, you've probably heard these words used quite a bit throughout different Zoom sessions that you've had with the district or with specific schools. So I just want to give a general reminder that CDL is known as Comprehensive Distance Learning, and that refers to the learning of students at home. So students will not be going to our building currently. They will be learning through instruction that's either synchronous or asynchronous. So the synchronous experiences will be sessions that are students gathering with their teachers for instruction that's live at a certain time in a certain place, and they'll click on either a Zoom link or a Google Meet link depending on what their teacher chooses. And then they may have some asynchronous work, such as an assignment or a reading that they may find in their Google Classroom, and that will supplement the materials that the teachers will be discussing during their synchronous sessions. There'll also be emails or reading articles, or even if you're in the synchronous experience, there may be live chats. This is going to be a whole student experience. So some of it may be by themselves, some of it may be in the live sessions, and that's what we're hoping to be able to share with you tonight on how to launch this year successfully.
Christine, I just wanted to pop in once there. So a little bit further in tonight, also we'll be discussing what the synchronous schedule looks like, which we'll have set up times for each class period. So it'll still feel like your kids are going to class, which is something that is really needed for regularity and connection. And we'll be talking a little bit about that later. So, but you mentioned that, Christine, but I just wanted to make sure that they knew that it's one of our major differences between spring and fall. And we're super excited about it. So that part is going to be pretty neat. And we'll talk a little more about it later.
Thank you, Stacy. So this is, for some families, this may be a new visual. So this is the Oregon City High School website. It's connected to the district website, so you can actually click into it from the district website, or using the link that's shared up at the top of the screen, you can click in and actually be able to access where your students are going to learn. At first it may seem, you saw some of this in the spring, but just to give you an idea of what your students do is they go into the student links, they'll look for student email and apps, they'll come to this class link experience. Right now it has my name and password, and you sign in, and then voila, there it is. You have some other tabs that you'll be able to see here, like down at the bottom. However, the class work will be here in this Google Classroom tab. So one of the things, while we're not going to be going into the specific nitty-gritty of how to do this, I do highly recommend that you talk to your student about showing you, walking you through what they experience in a regular classroom environment. Many of the students who have been with our school district since, I believe, as young as elementary school, have been clicking on a lot of these buttons to get to the learning experiences that their teachers have been presenting them. So if you have a moment, I know it's high school students, but see if they'll give you an opportunity just to show you what they're experiencing.
Well, Christine, before you go on for 1 second, if you went to the next slide, The inside of Google Classroom is to the purveyance of students, but there is a wonderful feature to Google Classroom where the Guardian email can be added and you can be invited. And the extent of that is that you would get digest emails of updates from the classrooms. And I don't know if that was on here, but that's something that we are definitely activating and making sure that that if you have an email address that's active with the district, that you are connected. And we're going to do that systematically through mentor teams, which is our advisory, to make sure that all like guardians are loaded into Google Classroom so that you get updates. So
thank you. So when your student goes into the Google Classroom, this is Ms. Bittinger's classroom from the spring. And one of the things I wanted to share was what it looked like. So it's going to be like this box in Cyber World, and you'll be able to click on it, which then leads you to these larger screens. And so these screens will be we've tried to streamline the format for which teachers' classrooms will look like, so that when a student moves from one class to the next, they'll have some of these guidelines that are they'll be similar. So you'll have get started here, week at a glance, announcements and attendance, week 1 assignments and materials. That'll all look the same. Of course, the materials to which the teachers put under here will be specific to their class. I know you may be overwhelmed, but walking through it with your student once the courses are up and running will be so much easier for you to take this information and be able to actually process it in a walk along with your student. So what do these topics mean up here in a Google Classroom? So this will be the symbol, the Google Classroom. Some of you may be very familiar with this. For some of you, this may be the first time you're seeing this. So a stream is where the announcements for upcoming work, things that the teacher wants to share with the class. This is not an area for which work will be provided. The classwork tab will be where all of the learning activities are, and they'll be organized similar to this setup right here, week by week by week. And you can also get at a glance look at the topics right here as the teachers continue to add material. Once you get in the habit of working with this platform, it'll be very easy for you to navigate where, what to experience. It'll all be in these tabs here.
At this moment, she's talking to students about navigating in those tabs because parents, you will have to have access with your kids, and that is a great moment to, hey, show me the classroom, show me around. And so now you'll be on top of it, of knowing what it looks like on the inside. It's like a VIP access.
Yes.
Access.
I can't say it's not there. You've got it firsthand right here. And then the people tab's a really great tab for the students as well. This is where they can access, you'll see here this little envelope. It's where they can click on the envelope and email their teacher directly. This class had students, so I am not showing the names, but they can also see who's in their class, which is security. It's covered by a security wall, so only the students and the teacher will know who's in that class. So it's a great way for students to be able to build connection, not only with their teacher, but with their classmates. And one of the ways, this is part of our synchronous experience where our students will be meeting with their teachers and their classmates on a regular basis, and we'll share that schedule shortly. We'll be using, majority of the teachers will be using Zoom. There's also some opportunity to use Google Meets. Both are security, set up with security measures that will be the whole purpose of these two platforms. We've been going through some high security settings trainings, training our teachers on how to use different tools within these two programs. It's a district-wide usage, so you'll see it at elementary, middle school, and high school. And then the students will be trained in this as well. So you can have sort of a glimpse over here to the right of what Zoom looks like if you're not familiar with it. Students can be seen up at the top. The content the teacher's driving will be in the view area. There's the chat experience like you're experiencing now. So what you're experiencing now and how we're engaging, this will be what it looks like. And then the teachers will be providing student-centered active learning with the students. So we call that the guide on the side, allowing students to be able to engage with each other and build community through these two amazing tools, along with other tools as well that we have. So I'd like to take a moment and pass the microphone back to Dr. Erickson so she can talk about grades and attendance here at OCHS, because it is different than the spring. And so we'll hear from Dr. Erickson about what this means for us at OCHS.
Thank you. Thank you. So there are two major differences between springtime and fall. In the springtime across the state, it was mandated that there would either be pass or incomplete for classes. For rising ninth graders, any incomplete that happened in eighth grade, beyond being just that it is a point to notice so that we can help support, they don't have to make those up. But as moving forward, there will be teachers will evaluate and grade student work, and that is different than in the spring. And what that means is that that we will have kind of the full options available for feedback, for grading, and for helping to support students. We are planning to have every 2 weeks grade updates and synergy progress reports sent out to families so that you can know what's going on and know quicker. We also, the different pieces of that helps us to help support students who might be struggling. So the grades consistently throughout the 12-week term really will give us a number of points to help teachers, to help students, and to help everyone kind of start to understand what high school is all about, and to help support that end result of getting credit in classes. Attendance. In a normal sequence, attendance is one of the most important indicators of engaging in school. But attendance in a virtual environment has a few different nuances that are very important. So attendance by the state of Oregon is mandated to be taken about interaction with student. Did a student interact in the Google Classroom? Did they answer the attendance question of the day? Have they submitted an assignment? Were they present in a synchronous session? All of those items make it so that a student can be marked present. The reason why we want our students present, and why you want your student present, is there's more chances for them to be learning and to feel a part of the community. If a student is marked absent, it's basically every 24 hours a student will be kind of a scan from the teacher to see if they've done any of those 4 things. If they have not, they'll be marked absent. The most important piece about being marked absent this fall at Oregon City High School is it helps us know who needs more support, and to be able to reach out and find out if there are some barriers to learning or barriers to attendance. It is important to note that the synchronous sessions, while being enriching and probably the best parts of the week for students, we also understand if a student can't make a required time online. Everyone in this room has been required to be in a Zoom at a certain time, and everything falls apart on the way to the Zoom, and that Zoom's not happening. That is common and real. And so we want to make sure to work with families. If you have a student that is not showing up for the synchronous session and you know it, email the teacher. If we have students that show up absent in a bunch of different classes, we're going to reach out to you. Is everything okay? Do you need help with technology? All the different pieces. And so interaction has to do with being present or not, and in those many different ways. Engagement has to do with, are they submitting assignments? Are they learning? Is feedback from the teacher happening? What's going on that end? And earning credit. And so we are going to be using attendance to really help support success, even more than in the brick and mortar, because we worry when we don't see our kids. And so if you get calls from the school, it will be from a live call. We won't be doing, there's something called a robocaller. I don't know if they do it in middle school, but it basically, if someone is marked absent, it generates a call. That's done for safety, because if you think your kid's in the brick and mortar school and they're not here, it's going to call you to tell you that they're not here, so that we make sure if they need any support, or you do, that happens in a loop, in a sequence that's pretty well. But how attendance is looked at is to be able to support our kids in CDL and make sure that they have all the barriers removed to getting here. And so every teacher and administrator in this room, or anyone who has kids, knows how many Zoom meetings you can actually support at the same time in your household. And it's right at my house, it's 3. At 3, everything starts falling apart. You can do 2, but 3 and so we have a lot of families that have a lot going on, and you're working from home and all the different pieces. So we understand that. You will be calling in if a child is ill or absent for any reason. We're going to call into the regular attendance line, and we'll make sure you have that number. And so that's entered in as a piece of data so that you don't get calls from real live people, to make sure that that works. And so that's kind of how that is. And so that is a perfect segue into our synchronous schedule. So the synchronous schedule for fall, I'm just getting the participant thing out here. So if you look here, there's 5 days in a school week. There's an important piece about Wednesdays. And if you look, there's a pattern. The pattern is that each 5 classes repeat once on Monday, Tuesday, once on Thursday, Friday. And there's an interesting piece. If you see that it says 45 minutes, that means that period 1, we'll look at period 1 on Monday, is 45 minutes, but it will occur within the range of 10:30 and 12. And here is what's going to happen next. Each teacher is going to select the time range for their 45 minutes between 10:30 and 12. The reason why we can't have everyone online at the same time is we have families that so that if all the children were online if you had 3 kids and they were all online at 10 o'clock for period 1, that might sink the ship. But if they have 3 different period 1 classes, chances are those Zoom meetings will be spread out within that range. And the best part is that teachers are going to select their time within the range and then stick to it. And this is pretty exciting. We're going to have a grid on our website that says teacher name and period and when their synchronous session is. If you can look at the math, it's 90 minutes within those bands, and there's actually 4 different options, 10:30 to 11:15, 10:45 to 11:30, and the such. And so you can look on the grid, and if you know the teacher name and the period, you could be like, Johnny's got to be online at 10:30 to 11:15 for period 1, and you'll be able to create that week. You'll have a schedule that looks like this, except for you're going to have to write in the different times for the kids, because the teachers will select, we'll put it on the website, and then also teachers will be communicating this to both students and parents for the time of their class. But that's happening in the next few days or the next week, because this actually starts on the first full week of school, which is 7+7, which starts on 9/14. And I think we should talk about the first week of school, but it might not be in this presentation, so we'll have another little blast out. The first week of school has 9th grade day on the 8th, and then there's a special schedule for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but because all kids will be together, we will put out that schedule with links to all families next week sometime. So this schedule starts on 9/14, and you'll have the update of there won't be range bands. Teachers will select times, and we will get that out to you in the form of a kind of a directory on the website. And very important, along the bottom, if your student has a first and second period class on Monday, they should expect that there's at least 30 minutes of work in the other periods that aren't meeting that day. So my teenager, if he saw this, he'd say, what? I only have 90 minutes of class on Monday? School's so great. I don't have to do anything else. Nope, you do. There's more to have in it. So that part, I mean, when you get a copy, I think you got a copy in this in the email from Carrie Wilhelm, our principal, a week or so ago, but you'll get another version. And when we send out this, we'll send out the slide deck to all 9th grade families so that you'll have a little bit more to go off of. So I know it seems confusing on the onset, but once we get some clarity and get the periods back from the teachers for when they're committing, that's what's going to happen next. And there should be open office hours on Wednesday, and they will also schedule that. So because Wednesday is staff in-service day, we're grading content collaboration and all the different pieces of how you put a school online. We're going to be tackling that on Wednesdays. So if you have any questions about this, go ahead and put it in the link that's in the chat. And if we have time at the end, we will definitely address those.
Thank you, Dr. Erickson. This last part here would be called asynchronous work and could be experienced through the Google Classroom. So this will be your synchronous experiences. This will be your asynchronous experiences. We'll all be experts with these terms by the end. All right, so Parent View is a great tool. Many of you have emailed me asking about how to access Parent View. Parent View is a tool that allows you to see your students' information. So if you have multiple students in the district and you'd like to keep track of them, you can have this app on your schedule and where they should be. It'll tell you their grades. There's some other wonderful tools that are part of this application. You can also, if you don't have a cell phone or don't want to put apps on your cell phone, you are able to access this information from our website. You can look at the login to Parent View and Student View. It will provide you with either the Parent View or the student view. So either or. This app is also, may I say, there's a student view app that students put on their cell phone so they can do the exact same thing, follow their schedule, they can contact their teachers, and they can also have some other tools that are really valuable for them as they're working through their school year. I just put it on my own student's cell phone, and we found it pretty exciting just to know that we have access to the teacher right from the cell phone. Not to mention a multitude of other ways that you'll be able to contact your teachers, but just one more link to help us build community and connection. And then if you have any questions, you can contact Holly Stone. She's able to help provide the information, the access information, because you'll see here there's a access point here. Most of you may have this information already. If not, or you can't find it or need something reset, you can contact Holly Stone and she'll be able to support you with those questions. So finding success in CDL. It's critical at this point that we log in daily just to see what's going on. Now, spring was very different. Students weren't very sure of what to do, but this time we want to make sure that our students are logging in daily to their Google Classroom. Their goal to being successful is asking lots of questions, reading materials, submitting assignments, setting up the expectation just like they would in their normal classroom, but just bringing it to this little box in front of us and being able to learn online. While it may be different, we want to be flexible. We want to help our students. We know that this time has been full of disruptions and points that are just out of our control. And so we want to give our students some grace and help guide them through this experience. We want to help create the study space. This study spaces can vary from student to student. Some students want to have a desk set up and a space to work that's just their own. Other students want a space on the floor. It's really up to the student to be able to find their space of success. And it may vary from time to time, day to day, so just work with them to find what works best for them. Getting involved. This is a challenge online. Sometimes we may have to prompt our students to be online and active when they don't want to be. And so we're going to talk about what getting involved means, how to keep your students engaged in our next session that's coming up, because we want your students to have the experience. Think about what's happening. Work with teachers to ask questions, submit work, and then, really think about what do they need to continue to be successful. One of the most important pieces also is engaging with your instructor first. It can feel very easy to just jump right in and maybe contact a counselor or contact an administrator, but either myself or an instructor, start with the instructors first. They're the ones that have created the curriculum. They're the ones that are meeting with your students in the synchronous sessions. So you want to try to build that relationship with your instructor so that you can get to know them and they can get to know you, and then help support whatever the concerns or needs are. This is a whole new world for all of us. So building those relationships will make this experience more positive. Something else to consider is making sure you write out the schedule. Have students have a calendar in front of them if they can, and write down what classes they're doing daily, even if it's just to internalize what it is they're supposed to be doing. Have them talk to you at the end of the day. Maybe they're, total teens and they just don't want to talk about what's happening or ask for help. But maybe at the end of the day, when you're, having dinner or coming home from work and you're just kind of having those chit chats, ask about the day. Say, what'd you do today? Show me what you did. Show me what that assignment is that's coming up. Hey, what's this Zoom thing that you're doing with your teachers, during these block periods of time? And help your students set some goals. As a ninth grader, it's so many transitions, so many unknowns. But one of the things you can do is help them set small goals and then also help them set big goals. So think about how to motivate them through this experience. Let's see. And then some people have asked, I've received some emails and some concerns about, do we have trimesters? What does this look like? We will have our full 12 weeks per course. We're in trimesters, and so you'll have trimester 1, 2, and 3. They last 12 weeks long. The first one will start on September 8th for ninth graders, and then the rest of the school will begin, everyone else will begin on the 9th. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's see, and after November 11th, that's the day that the state will be discussing, I believe it's the state, Stacy, or just the district? I need clarification.
Go ahead and say what
So
was
the
it?
more information about November 11th will be when decisions are made regarding our return. Is that a statewide decision or a district decision?
I believe that's a district decision, and
Okay.
so hear more as we go along. Carrie, did you agree with that?
That is correct. It is a district decision.
Thank you so much. I wanted to make sure families knew that. So there'll be a point on November 11th where there'll be some decisions made about whether or not we'll be returning in a blended learning, or what capacity we'll be returning, or if we will be returning. So stay positive and focused on these 12 weeks. There are finals that will be discussed, and we'll talk more about finals in a different session and what those mean, but they will be happening on December 7th. I'm sorry, December 7th through December 8th.
Yep.
And family communication. I am ever so thankful that we were able to put together the ninth grade family news. Our edition 1 went out about a week ago and was well received by many family members. We felt like this was an opportunity to continue a tradition that many of you had in both elementary and middle school. And so we'd like to continue having these newsletters go out specifically to ninth grade families, so you have the extra in on what's happening. Some of the information will connect with what's gone out via the district, potentially what Principal Wilhelm will be sending out, just touching on important information to help you stay connected to the school. You'll also have some information about how to, in the last newsletter, we talked about how to manage CDL. And so I want to be able to give you some tips about what to do with your students in distance learning, as well as share student work. This will all be protected under your student won't be asked to produce anything that's without permission. But we want to be able to share work, share stories, share videos that classes have made, projects that they're doing, because it's not nearly as fun to just submit something and then have it graded and returned. It's more exciting to submit an amazing project and then be able to share it out to the community so everyone can see what you're working on. And so I thank you for these opportunities to be able to connect with you, being the special ninth grade families that you are, and help you be able to have academic success as well as support your transition questions. This is a big, big step into high school. And so we want to be able to hold your hand through this process and be able to help you find the support that you need each step of the way. Dr. Erickson, is there anything else you'd like to share?
Well, so we are going to have a ninth grade family night series. We are hopefully, tentatively, it looks to be a good night to do it. September 29th, it's about 3 weeks into school. It's about 2 weeks before fall conferences, so that we can have a little bit of get together, probably talk about ways to continue success or ways to start success and the different pieces that Christine kind of covered that we left for the future. We're super excited about the idea of having more frequent meetings to help really support and make sure if our families know what's going on. I'm going to give a moment to our principal, Carrie Wilhelm, to do a little bit of course, a principal pep talk, right? And then if we have a few minutes, we'll answer some of the questions, but the questions will hold because that's one of the reasons why you could switch to either way, what, Christine? But all right, I'm going to turn the time over to Principal Wilhelm.
Hi, thank you so much. Great job, Christine and Stacy, and thank you for making this evening and planning this. And thank you all, parents and families, for being here. We appreciate your continued cooperation and partnership in educating your students. We are so excited to have the class of 2024 with us, starting their 4-year journey with us in the next week or so. Our Link Crew Day has been planned with such care and such precision, and we are ready to have you join us and have a great time on that day together, building relationships and learning what OCHS looks like during our comprehensive distance learning. And just want to let you know how excited we are to work with you in the next 4 years, and want you to know that we are all here to support you. And so if you have questions, please reach out to Dr. Baldwin or Dr. Erickson or any of the other associate principals, the counselors, because we want to support you and we want to answer the questions that you have. So thank you so much for being here tonight. We appreciate you and are really excited to meet your students virtually and then hopefully soon in person.
Thank you, Principal Wilhelm.
Have a few minutes. There are a couple questions, and so any administrator or teacher that's in the line, or Christine. So one of the questions had to do with, what if my student misses a synchronous session? What will happen next? And I can go ahead and answer that. So it will depend. Every synchronous session, if there is content or material that the student needs to be able to access for assignments and for future learning, because sometimes it might just be a community meeting. It might just be a question and answer period about something. But there will be multiple ways. Sometimes a teacher will record the part of the session that is deemed most important for a student who is absent to see. There will also be slide decks possibly, or instructions, and the different pieces of what I would do to help if a student missed that. They are held harmless for that, because we understand it's hard to get to synchronous, but we are going to try and really help support families with technology and with the procedure so that we can get your kids there, because it's when they really can feel the community of their students around them, and the teachers are preparing really fun things to do that will help just help your child feel part of all of this. And so that is, with that in mind, every time a teacher plans a synchronous session, they're thinking about the parts that students who, if they were absent, what they need to be able to do to make up, and that will be offered. Another question that was about what email will students be getting their Link Crew email to, because they're unsure if they have an OCHS email. And I think the same email that they had in middle school comes up with them, so they can access that. And if not, they could call, I think, Holly Stone in attendance, and that call the attendance office, and she can help troubleshoot some of the email questions. Another question was about 504s and how like special ed and 504s are being managed over CDL. And I might need help with that question, Principal Wilhelm.
Can you repeat the question, please?
If a student has a 504 or an IEP, how will they get reached out to make sure that there's a process around that?
Great, yes. So I know that our case managers are working for students who have IEPs. Our case managers are working to reach out to all of the students that are on their caseload, and connecting also with that student's teachers once we have schedules, so that there will be a great partnership with case managers, teachers, and students and families in order to get the support that you need. For 504s, that is also a partnership with counselors and the teachers and the families as well. And so if you are a student or you are a parent with a student who is on a 504 or an IEP, expect to hear from case managers or counselors in order to partner. And if you don't hear from them, please reach out to them via email. They are currently swamped with a lot of things right now, and so a friendly reminder through email is a great way to do that.
Awesome. And then one other one was, how long will our students be on the computer each day? And that might vary, but the easiest thing to say is roughly 3 hours. Is 2 hours and 50 minutes is the kind of state minimum for school time. And for some days that will be 3 45-minute sessions along with extra work, the work from the other classes. We had another family say, hey, we got 3 high school students and 2 parents working from home. How much can internet handle? And truly, that's why we're trying to make the synchronous learning a wonderful addition, and to really help boost the ability for kids to connect. But there will be ways that they will not be held accountable or graded down for missing synchronous work. And that's mainly for the stress of that, because it's hard. That definitely is not a requirement, but a definite logjam when you have a number of people working from home and the different pieces of that. So we totally get that. And
Dr. Erickson, I'd say if you are having those jam ups and the issues are persisting, let your teachers know. That may be better than not, sharing that communication will let the teacher know that the student's not ignoring the class or forgetting to attend it. It's just that you're having some issues with internet connection, and that way you can just build the relationship with the teacher specifically about your needs.
And it's possible that that student then could be sent a recording that might not be completely out there for everyone else, so that we would be able to help support that, and just make sure that that's a thank you for Christine for that, because the advocating is an important piece. One last one was, when will students receive their school schedules? That might be for Principal Wilhelm.
Great question. We are working on finishing up schedules. There was a little bit of technology glitch and some changes due to the online program, and so we did not get them out as early as we had liked. However, they will be out early next week, and you will receive an email that gives you some information, and then you will log on to Student View or Parent View in order to see that schedule. So you will need to be able to access your Student View and Parent View to see the schedule itself. So that's how you can prepare now, and they will be out early next week, and you will receive an email notification.
And we do know that some of the rostering might have connected to Google Classrooms already. And if the placement of that student changes, if their schedule changes, that rostering should figure out when the teacher logs into Google Classroom. And so if you look in Parent View and Student View and there is something there, it has to have an asterisk by it, because things are still moving, because we're trying to balance classes and make sure our classes are as small as possible. And the teachers have been building their Google Classrooms, and it talked to the computer, and there you go. So if you see something that is a tentative schedule, that definitely might change if you see some classes or others. And if you don't see anything, that's fine too, because the rostering, it's our first year of that, and the connection we're working on that. So that's just to explain that if you have it. So with that, I think we're getting close to 8 o'clock to let everyone on with their wonderful evening. Please, this SurveyMonkey link will be open later. We'll close it tomorrow. So it's in the chat. Just click that link before you leave, or cut and paste it to your desktop, and give us a listen to see give us a tell to see what you would like to see next. And as parents, what would you like a future meeting on, and to help support your students? And so any feedback is great feedback. So wonderful. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so very much.
We'll see you in a little bit.